night to be at the Dort Financial Center. The Firebirds back home off a win last night in Kitchener, and they're debuting a brand new orange third jersey. Fans have been lining up early to get their free t-shirt because the Birds are painting the stands orange tonight as they host their rivals from across the Blue Water Bridge. Stick around a while. We've got the Firebirds and the Sarnia Sting. Flint Firebirds hockey is on the air. And it starts right now. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the broadcast booth for our pregame show, driven by Shea Automotive. Here to tell you this story, I'm Brian Gardner. We got the Firebirds and the Sarnia Sting, these rivals meeting up for the first of 8 times this season. Oh, as you know, they say familiarity, she does breed contempt. The Birds and the Sting did meet up in the preseason last month, and things got a little bit feisty, and so you know there might be some spillover even from an exhibition game. Always look forward to seeing Sarnia roll into town as the Firebirds are going to have a heck of an atmosphere here on this Saturday evening as the Birds coming off of a win yesterday in Kitchener. Of course, that'll help bring them out, and so will free t-shirts, and as we mentioned, a brand new third jersey. Let's take a look at what these beauties look like. The Firebirds, the first time in franchise history, this being year 10 at the gateway to the NHL, orange alternates, Flint diagonally across the chest. These were unveiled on Wednesday on social media. They're hitting the ice today. Pre-orders are available at the Bird's Nest here this evening at the Dort Financial Center. So you can't quite get them in person yet, but you can get in line to get your own. And I got to adapt the famous quote from the great philosopher Ron Burgundy. And to speak on behalf of the team for a moment, hey everyone, come see how good we look. Let's go to the highlights. Firebirds and the Sarnia Sting. Yesterday, both of them were in action. We begin in Sarnia as the Sting are hosting the Saginaw Spirit first period. It's Michael Misa. What a start. He is off to in his draft year. Misa, his 8th of the season. Saginaw is off to an early lead. Later, though, to answer, Carter Kostic for the Sting. Look at that. We got a tie hockey game, top shelf and in. It's 1-1. To the second period we go. Saginaw's going to grab the lead back here. Jacob Cloutier off the rebound. Right place, right time. 2-1 Saginaw. 2 minutes later, Tyson Doucette is going to get in on the fun. On a power play on the back door, that's the first lead of the game. That's Beckham Edwards on the power play, and it's 1-1. Now 2 minutes later, it's the first lead of the game for Sarnia. This time, Tyson Doucette is in on the fun, and the first lead of the game for Sarnia. They're going to add to that. Third goal in the span of 3 minutes coming up here, Lucas Fisher. Second round draft choice of the St. Louis Blues. He's the captain. He scores, and Sarnia takes the lead. But in the third, shorthanded effort, Ethan Hay, the former Firebird, gritty. He's fired up. They're within one. Final seconds of the third. One face-off. Is it going to be enough time? Caleb Mangoni with a buzzer beater. 4/10 showing on the clock. Off to overtime and eventually the shootout. Zane Perek in his return from Calgary. He scores in the shootout. Last chance for Sarnia. Rolls away from Andrew Oak. Saginaw, in dramatic fashion, takes the extra point by a final of 5-4. Over to Kitchener, where the Firebirds were on the road yesterday. Early on, this is the Nathan Day Show. Right pad, Oilers prospect with a boot-time stop. 0-0 in the early going. Now the Firebirds to get on the board. Jack Darcy slips loose. Evan Conyon, second effort. He's got a goal-scoring touch. That's his third of the season. What a feed from Darcy. He was playing as close to his hometown as possible from Cambridge, about 10 miles away. And they make it 1-0. Later, Day again by Nathan Day was disguised as a brick wall yesterday. A turnover, Day, another stop. Nathan Day bailing out the defense, but in the third period, early in the third period, Adrian Misiljevic, he's going to score. Misiljevic evens things up and eventually off to overtime. And in overtime, boy, just give Connor Clattenburg all kinds of room. They were playing the pass. Clattenburg takes the shot. Clattenburg tucks it in and scores. And the Firebirds take the extra point thanks to their captain with a game-winning goal by a final score of 2-1. Now, after that game yesterday, the Birds weren't exactly a boisterous bunch going on to the bus. They weren't exactly thrilled with the way that they played, and the coaching staff had a little bit of a back and forth among each other saying, hey, it's kind of good that they're not that happy because that was a bit of a sloppy game, the Birds coaching staff and the team thought. Flint does get away with the extra point. They come back home here to take on a division rival this evening. We'll see if the Firebirds come out a little bit of extra jump in front of their home crowd here on this Saturday evening in early October in mid-Michigan. And these beauties, these orange jerseys, going on the ice for the first time. Hey, stick around as we roll along here on the pregame show driven by Shea Automotive. When we come back, we'll get a look at today's lineups, our players to watch, all that and more. Coming up after this, don't go anywhere. We got the Firebirds and the Sarnia Sting. Pregame show driven by Shea Automotive continues after this on FHN.
The Shea Megalot is GM's #1 certified Car Bravo dealer. Here's what it's all about. With Car Bravo, all makes and models up to 10 years and 100,000 miles come with a 6-month, 6,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. Like this. 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 Ford, Audi, Lexus, Ram, Toyota, Jeep, Lincoln. The time is now to take advantage of the #1 certified GM Car Bravo warranty. Imagine where you could go. Just saying.
It's Flint and Sarnia, the Firebirds and the Sting for the first of 8 meetings between these two teams this season. The Firebirds on home ice following an overtime win on the road yesterday. Sarnia fell in a shootout on home ice yesterday in their building in Sarnia. Let's take a look at today's lineups. As for the Sarnia Sting, they're a young team. They're a team that really is still kind of on the way up after they kind of had a rebuilding situation last year. Some players that you'll keep an eye on. They're that top line with Filak on the left wing. Young throughout, though, as it's Serzicha in net for Sarnia. What we would have expected. He's playing the 3rd of 4 of their games so far this season. Taking a look at the players to watch for this evening's contest, we begin on the blue line with their captain, Lucas Fisher. Fisher's a Michigan native. He's from Brighton. Had a couple of points last night against the Saginaw Spirit. If you were with us in the previous segment, you saw him pick up that goal. Also drafted by the St. Louis Blues in the 2nd round, and he's born in Michigan. His dad played for the Red Wings, Yuri Fisher, who also has worked in player development for a long time as well. So Lucas Fisher, now an NHL prospect in his own right, and a guy to keep an eye on here this evening. We move to Carter Kostic. Kostic is a draft-eligible guy, off to a nice start. 3 points in 3 games, a goal and 2 helpers. He scored last night against the Saginaw Spirit. Off a 22-point season his rookie year, came over in a trade from the North Bay Battalion at the trade deadline, part of the next wave for the Sarnia Sting. Carter Kostic in his draft season. See if he can continue his solid start to the year. And to the overager, Zach Filak, pointed out him on the top line left wing. Filak, a 2004-born forward, a goal and 2 helpers. He picked up an assist last night against the Saginaw Spirit. Last year, he had 24 goals for Sarnia. He was one of the consistent goal scorers for a team that at times struggled to put the puck in the net, and he was always a thorn in the side of the Firebirds, another Michigan native playing in his home state here this evening. For the Firebirds, we take a look at their lineup. It's shuffled up just a little bit. That 4th line looks a little bit different than it did yesterday. Josh Colosimo's out. Ryland Cunningham is in. We see Cole Zarowski back on the 4th line after he was a 3rd-line guy yesterday, and Alex Kostov bumped up to the 2nd line. Also, Ryland Fellinger had been paired with Jack Darcy. Those two split up, still in the absence of Blake Smith, serving his 2nd game of a 2-game suspension. Our players to watch, just mentioned Jack Darcy on that 3rd pair. Darcy is really finding himself forcing it into a conversation that the coaching staff is going to have. He has played 3 games, he has 2 helpers, and he looks really comfortable out there. Last season as affiliate player, played in 4 games as a Firebird, picked up an assist on the first goal for Flint yesterday. Now, we mentioned Smith is going to be back from the suspension after this game. Padrekar is back and healthy. Be hard to take Darcy out of the lineup right now. We'll see if that continues here this evening. Looking over to Jimmy Lombardi in his 2nd year as a Firebird. Led all rookies in points last season with 20 of them for Flint. 7 goals and 13 assists in his first go-around. Entering his draft-eligible season, Jimmy has had 1 point so far for Lombardi. The process has been there. He's soaking up a lot of minutes. He's playing top 6 role. He's out there as a power play guy and a penalty kill guy. He's looked good. It just hasn't been on the score sheet so far with just 1 point in 3 games. We'll see if he busts loose against a team he's familiar with in the Sarnia Sting. and to the captain, Connor Clattenburg. A point in every game so far for Clattenburg, Edmonton Oilers' 5th-round draft pick at the most recent 2024 NHL draft. That was his 2nd season as an eligible player to be selected. Clattenburg, that rise continuing for him after the trade from the Sioux Greyhounds last season. Scored the overtime game winner. It was a beauty last night. We saw him get this place fired up last time we were in this building 1 week ago. We'll see if we get more of that from Connor Clattenburg on a Saturday evening in Flint, Michigan. The Firebirds and the Sarnia Sting. Oh, it's always fun when these two teams meet up. A lot of Sarnia fans like to make their short trip over across the Blue Water Bridge. Firebirds, of course, are always a rowdy bunch here in this building. So Flint, the big thing today, can't wait to see those new orange 3rd jerseys debuted on the ice here this evening. Firebirds trying to make it back-to-back wins. They're trying to make it 3 out of their first 4. Split last weekend against the London Knights. The win on home ice, the win on the road, loss on home ice. So the Birds are 2-0 on the road. They have yet to win on home ice, but oh, she is early. Just game number 4 out of 68 here in this regular season. So the Firebirds and the Sarnia Sting, we're getting closer to puck drop as we roll along here on the pregame show driven by Shea Automotive. When we come back, we're going to get the starting lineup, the introductions. We'll have the national anthem, puck drop. All that is coming up. Don't go anywhere. Firebirds and the Sting in just a moment after this on the Firebirds Hockey Network.
Hello? Are you there? The Shea Megalot is hosting their annual pre-owned lease pull-ahead. Are you upside down on your trade? Over on your miles? We'll buy your car.
Don't just turn your lease in.
We'll buy your car.
Is your current payment too high?
We'll buy your car.
Trapped in your lease?
We'll buy your car.
Not in the market for a car?
We'll still buy your car.
Are your service bills adding up?
We'll buy your car.
Bad credit?
We'll buy your car. Plus, the Shea Megalot has over 500 pre-owned and certified vehicles to choose from. Just Shea'n.